Hey guys, speaking of great trailers, Marty, what's next on the list?
Next up, we are talking. Hey, I'm Marty. We are talking about Persona 5, I guess. Andrew?
Andrew, the floor is yours.
Oh, dang. So fittingly on May 5th, we got an event live from Tokyo Tower, which is a really big place in Japan.
What do you mean fittingly on May 5th?
5/5, Persona 5.
Oh.
They announced the
What writers?
Japanese release date of Persona 5. We saw a new trailer. We met some new party members. They revealed a whole bunch of stuff. That's really exciting. It's
UI, dude. The UI looks
the UI is so
amazing.
stylish.
That game's very, very pretty, and it's very Catherine inspired, which makes me really happy.
Definitely.
That makes me really
But the UI is everything they're doing with UI and menus and everything is just so cool and smart. If you haven't seen some of those videos,
also very different.
highly recommended.
Yeah.
But so they revealed that stuff, and the interesting thing that stuck out to us, I said interesting.
That's fine.
The fascinating thing that stuck out to us
You're overselling it.
was that this is coming out in Japan on September 15th. And that leads to two questions. The first of which is, will this be in the US in 2016? And then the second of which, I agree, it probably won't be. The second of which is, what does that mean versus Final Fantasy? And then if this is coming in the US in Q1, what does that mean versus Mass Effect, which we got officially confirmed today will be an early 2017 game. That's a Western RPG, obviously.
I still think there'd be a lot of overlap there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think even time investment wise, even if there aren't gameplay similarities, like if you're going to put 100 hours into a game, like in Final Fantasy is going to get a lot of people in September.
Yeah.
But what does the next 6 months look like at that point? Because Horizon is also a game that we're theoretically getting this year that rumors are saying maybe 2017.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that game this year.
I don't think so either, but if that's a Q1 2017 game then versus Mass Effect and
from what we've heard from Horizon is that it's secretly a lot more RPG-ish than you think or than they originally showed.
God, I think that game looks awesome.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best games.
But I also think Persona 5 looks awesome as coming from someone who's never played a Persona game. From what you showed me, I think stuff. I think it looks really, really good, and I actually do want to play it. Like in my head, just then I was weighing up like Mass Effect or Persona or Final Fantasy, and I'm like, no, I have to play all of those games.
That's what's weird, and that's not even counting whatever Watch Dogs and Titanfall and whatever else is probably coming this year. I think. Time always becomes an issue. Last year, obviously, with Metal Gear and The Witcher and Fallout. Yeah, we had kind of a similar problem.
That's why I got tendinitis.
Oh no!
Legitimately, those games gave me tendinitis.
Too much gaming.
Yes.
I think there was a little bit less genre overlap there.
Fewer genre overlap.
I hate you. I think the people who were really, really, really into Metal Gear, obviously could like The Witcher and Fallout, but there was more variation there.
They are very different, yeah.
Whereas I think Persona and Final Fantasy have much more direct overlap.
Yeah, I think there are fans of both of those franchises too, and I think a lot of those folks might also be fans of Mass Effect. Just as three of the biggest RPG franchises of the last. Final Fantasy's 30 years, but the other two are the last decade, 20 years.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting seeing what this looks like. I think right now Persona is very, very big in Japan. They just announced another set of stage shows. Persona 3 still has movies coming out, and that's like a 10-year-old game by this point. Yeah.
There's that really good Vine.
There's that really good Vine that
cool
Chris Person made.
James
there was that cool snowboarding thing that you have things.
The Persona Snow Festival.
That was the Persona Snow Festival.
I mean, that's what's weird. Persona is a cultural phenomenon
right now.
Pay attention to
what my friends like.
I appreciate that. Persona's a cultural phenomenon right now in Japan, and since it became that big, there hasn't been, Persona 4 Golden came out and did very well on Vita, proportionately to what you would expect for that install base. The PS4 is huge right now, and also in Japan at least, Persona is coming to PS3, which is really interesting because that install base is obviously gigantic as well. So in Japan, I think we'll see pretty good sales for this, even right before Final Fantasy. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the West because, obviously Vita, Persona 4 Golden is among the top-selling Vita games, but that doesn't really mean anything because so few people own a Vita. So it'll be really interesting, especially in the wake of Final Fantasy, to see what's happening with Persona 5.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get the American release date at some point soon, right? Or the Western
I would assume.
Date.
So they also confirmed this. Persona 5 will be at E3. That's the first North American event it will technically be making an appearance at because there wasn't. I believe there was a montage at PSX, but
has it been in Japan? Has it been in a Japanese
event? TGS.
Right.
Yeah, they revealed a bunch of stuff at TGS.
I can see it being on Sony stage.
Yep.
And then releasing a date. My gut tells me it's not this year. like you said. I mean, it'd be crazy if it was. And also, that'd probably be good for Sony if rumors of Horizon being next year. And then, I mean, Last Guardian's still on track for this year. But
I feel like competing with Final Fantasy is suicide.
It's weird, right? I mean, Final Fantasy has been, especially after 13, I think its relevance has fallen a little bit.
Totally,
I think
but
fewer
people can care again now.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
care.
15 is a very big upswing. I think
15
people
could
are.
be the thing that brings Final Fantasy back to its full glory.
I think they're counting on it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so interesting that they're. Darn it!
Interesting.
That's why it's such a
thing?
a nebulous thing.
Fascinating. Mesmerizing.
Evidently.
That's why it's worth comparing, though. I think that like right now we have this weird JRPG like battle being set up that I don't think we've had in a long time, because traditionally it's like Final Fantasy is going to win. I don't think Persona 5 will outsell Final Fantasy worldwide, but in Japan it'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, Final Fantasy is multi-platform. In Japan, that doesn't matter because you know where Xbox One games go in Japan, literally behind the PSP games.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it is
so
insane.
PS1 games we saw. Like when we were in Japan,
Wow.
just anecdotally, we were in a store that had gigantic PS3 display, or PS4 was obviously front and center.
Yeah,
gigantic
gigantic
3DS
Vita.
display. Gigantic Wii U, a little bit of Vita, and then literally in the very, very, very back corner of the store, there was a row of PSP and a row of PS1, and then behind that, there was a tiny little shelf of Xbox One,
They
Xbox
had like
360
Quantum
games.
Break.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like. I'm really, really excited to see how this franchise does, and I'm especially excited. Like aside from everything else, at E3, I think we'll finally see uninterrupted gameplay. I think we'll get a proper gameplay demo rather than just a trailer showing snippets.
Also, the one game we don't have on here, Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
and
that's
that's the thing. Ni no
really
Kuni
like
2
Ni no Kuni.
and
So do I.
also, I mean, you'll roll your eyes at me, but Danganronpa 3 is coming to PS4. It's not just a Vita game anymore, and like all of those
It's
niche.
not just a Vita game.
This ain't your mom's Danganronpa. But that's the thing. Like,
Mom's Alone on Vita Island.
there's so many console JRPGs this fall, and yeah, some of them are more niche than others, but it's a crazy competition for your time and your money. And I really think Final Fantasy will come out ahead, but I think Persona 5 will make a bigger dent than people expect.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that this fall is going to be interesting.
What specifically
Evidently.
is interesting about it?
This is going to be a meteor shower.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
They're going to raise the interest on games.